What's up, everybody? Welcome to Tones Overthinks It, the show where I think too much to make up for the people who don't think at all. As you can see, Fezzington and I are now back in the Western Hemisphere. Sorry it took so long to get this video out. Once we got here, things kinda went sideways. Anyways, customary humor set aside, once again Fezzington and I are looking into how sovereign citizens fare in other parts of the world. Now admittedly I am cheating a bit like last video, but instead of it being a sovereign citizen from a foreign country in the US, it's a US sovereign citizen in a foreign country. Specifically, Gavin Seim. If you're unfamiliar with Gavin, it's quite a long story, but if I can give you the short version, he's basically what would happen if Chile was just a little more committed. Started out as a frauditor, he filmed some cops, he annoyed some people, he actually tried to get into politics, failed, got in trouble, got charged, didn't show up for court, and instead of just fleeing to another state, he decided to flee the entire country. He now lives here in Mexico, claiming to be, I kid you not, an American refugee.
What?
Strap yourselves in, mi amigos. This one's a doozy.
¿Quieres extorsionarme?
Aquí tengo dinero para darte a ti. Aquí.
Ah, sí, pues dámelo. ¿Tú tienes identificación?
No, identificación no. Tuya.
No, you have to give identification for La 43 de Mexico Federal.
Now, given Gavin's incredibly poor Spanish, and the fact that as a sovereign citizen I can't trust him any further than I could throw him, I would take his translation of what everyone in this video is saying with a grain of salt. And since he couldn't be bothered, I took the liberty of finding a translated version of the laws he's trying to cite, specifically the General Law of the National Public Security System, Article 42, which establishes what is required on every police officer's identification document and requires them to identify themselves as police officers except in certain cases. Now, I'm not Mexican, and if anyone from Mexico is watching and you have a better understanding of this, I would encourage you to correct me in the comment section in the event that I'm wrong, but I think Gavin has this strange misconception that failing to adhere to this particular article is somehow a federal crime, because the very last of the general laws, Article number 44, establishes the sanctions that would be imposed upon a public servant for failing to comply with them. And let's just say, being charged with a federal crime isn't exactly listed.
Tu identificación.
Ah, ok. Pero el vehículo es tuyo.
Sí.
Ok, tus placas son falsas.
No.
Necesito saber por qué traes esas placas.
Esos.
Sí.
La gente se roban las placas.
Ah, yes. The police so often steal sovereign citizens' license plates. I can't imagine why. Perhaps because they are almost always fake ones they either made themselves or bought online from Sovcit gurus, happy to take their money and let them get arrested.
Tengo la original. Pero esos son la de plástico.
No, pero ¿por qué haces eso?
Porque la gente se roban las placas. Sí. O la...
Traer la placa original.
No, porque se robó.
Es un delito.
No, eso no es delito.
Documentos falsos o
No.
Entonces, ¿por qué traes esas placas falsas?
No son falsas, son eso.
No, las que traes tú para circular.
Because the gente steal them. They steal them.
¿Es qué?
Todavía no me muestras identificación. ¿Cómo se llama tú?
Ulises García.
Tu identificación, porfa.
¿Para qué quieres mi identificación?
Porque es la ley.
¿Por qué?
Es delito.
¿Cuál es delito?
Por tú.
No. Ya me estoy identificando contigo.
Ley 43.
Ya te estoy
By the way, I love that he keeps saying it's Article 43, even though we've clearly established it's actually Article 42 he's talking about. It's a minor nitpick, I admit, but these guys always like to brag about how they're so knowledgeable and prepared to talk their way out of these traffic stops, and yet when the moment finally comes, either they completely disregard everything that they've learned and just act like jackasses, or they just proceed to say everything wrong.
saber el por
No,
qué.
your identification real.
Necesito
tu identificación, amigo.
Necesito que te identifiques o alguna
Tu primera.
licencia o
Tu
algo.
primera es la ley.
No, yo soy... No. La autoridad, yo te...
No, tú no eres autoridad, tú eres...
Estamos jugando, ¿no? O sea...
No es un juego. ¿Cómo se llama? 43.
Escúchame.
43 de Ley Seguridad Nacional. You tienes que darme tu
Me estoy
identificación.
identificando contigo.
Tu tarjeta es en la ley. La ley no es una discusión. Tú no entiendes. La ley, la ley es muy clear.
Oh, blow it out your ass.
Sí, pero ¿qué quieres? Yo quiero tu identificación real por contabilidad, porque me estás molestando. Me estás acosando.
Sí es delito.
No, no es
Porque
delito.
Es como si trajera placas falsas.
No es en placas falsas. Si quieres, infraccionarme. Pero, ¿cómo necesitan 20? Hay tanta delincuencia en San Juan. ¿Y tienes cuánto? 20 policía. Hay asesinatos. Hay, ¿cómo se llama? Ladrones. Toda la policía de San Juan está aquí.
Well, you are a foreign extremist with incredible anti-government tendencies, very pro-firearm, and you are currently a fugitive from the law for assaulting a police officer in America. That and you're a spoiled brat and a perfect example of the ugly American. But hey, don't take my word for it. That's what this guy had to say about you. And when you have someone whose literal job it is to speak with diplomacy willing to call out your bullshit, you know you've screwed up.
Él comete delito cuando no identifican oficialmente. Eso es delito federal.
Artículo 3, capítulo 3, artículo 234. Uso de documentación falsos o alterados. Al que haga uso de documentos falsos.
No es esta ley por placas.
Technically it is. Just because you didn't change the numbers when you made the plastic versions of your plates doesn't make them any less forged. If I made fake plastic copies of someone else's license plates and put them on my car, I'd be in trouble for fake plates. If I made a picture-perfect photocopy of a $20 bill with no changes, I would be in trouble for forgery and counterfeiting. You have fake plates, and fake plates are illegal.
No, eso no es.
Este es un documento.
No, hay una otra ley sobre las placas. No es un delito. No, eso es mentiras. Eso es mentiras. Yo has visto la ley.
Soy mentiroso entonces.
Sí, eres.
Está bien fácil, pues.
Intento de ser amable, pero
Nosotros también somos amables.
y te muestra.
Falta el respeto,
No,
nadie te ha faltado.
mi falta de respeto porque es un delito que no se identifica. Entonces él también comete un delito federal. Porque no identifica. Vamos a llevar a la fiscalía porque yo quiero denunciar también.
And nobody cares for me.
Okay, I guess it's time now to address the unfortunate elephant in the room. Police in Mexico have, shall we say, a bit of a reputation. And sadly, it's not always a positive one. Now, I am sure there are many police officers in Mexico who have served the public faithfully, and frankly, the ones we've seen in this video so far have gone out of their way to be patient with this idiot. But the fact is, there are police in other countries in this world that you do not want to mess with. They are not willing to sit around and listen to your nonsense, and for those even willing to listen to it for 5 minutes, would come to the conclusion that the world would be a better place if you ceased to exist in it. So with all that said, how freaking stupid is this guy to go from causing trouble in the US, where at least the police there are more willing to show restraint, to moving to a country where police are less likely to show restraint, to play a friendly game of fuck around and find out.
Max, what? This is it!
¿Por qué quieres llevar él a la fiscalía? Yo a la fiscalía, pero él no, cuando él comete un delito federal. Espérame. Amigo.
Bájate.
Ya, amigo, ya te dimos mucho chance.
Oye.
Sí, la verdad, ya te dimos mucho
Estamos
chance.
hablando.
No. Ya es mucho chance, la verdad. Baja del vehículo. Baja del vehículo. Asegúrenlo. Vamos a ponerlo a disposición de la fiscalía. Ya estuvo. Es mucho chance lo que se le está dando. Es mucho hablar. Ya se lo explicó. Ya, de favor, señorita, descienda del vehículo también. De la misma manera, se lo pido atentamente. Descienda del vehículo.
And it's off to jail he went. Now there's a lot more to this video. Most of it's him just rambling about, citing some worthless stuff, and standing on his proverbial soapbox while enjoying the smell of his own farts. So it seems that he can't avoid getting into trouble with police no matter what country he's in. You'd almost think he'd come to the realization that maybe it's not everyone else that's the problem, and it's just him. An entitled, bail-jumping anarchist with a victim complex and delusions of grandeur. But then again, maybe I'm just overthinking it. Thanks for watching, everybody. If you like what you see here and you want to see even more in the future, please consider subscribing to my channel. Also, feel free to share your thoughts down in the comment section. I always love to read them. Till next time.
I'll make a laminated copy of my plates and keep the original inside the car, because when they write a parking ticket or something, they steal your plate and they use that to make you come and pay faster so you can get your plate back. So I'm like, screw that. You're not stealing my plate.
Yeah, and how did that work out for you?
So I ended up paying in total probably about $400.